guys, I'm glad you're all here with me. Thank you for using your valuable time to watch my videos. I'm going to be pressure canning chicken. The chicken's all done. I baked it in my oven and I'm letting it cool off so I can debone it and then put it in jars and pressure can it. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, got all my jars. I got my salt, my rings, and my chicken. I'm going to use half pint, and I'm going to use pink Himalayan, can you see that? There we go. Pink Himalayan salt. I was going to use this Morton canning salt, but it's hard as a rock. So let's see here. 1/2 teaspoon. And we'll put them in our jars. Alright, there's that. Place lid on canner, lock in position, vent steam for 10 minutes, put weight gauge on vent, bring pressure to 10 pounds, 1 hour and 15 minutes for pint jars. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, let's add our chicken. I don't know if this little, I think I'm going to use my hands. Okay, let's add the chicken. Got my water on. That's a big piece. Some of these pieces are really big. Get in there. Like that one. I'll save that for a different jar. Okay, how much do we have in there? Okay, that's probably good. And we'll add our water. Okay, add the water. 1 inch of headspace after I get all the bubbles out. Make sure we have all the air out. Let's see. Yep, okay. Clean the rim. Remove that. There was a lot of fat in this chicken. Okay, get our lid. Oop. Let me rinse that off again. Okay. Alright. And our lid. Which will be finger tight. And let's put it in our canner. Alright, there's one. Alright, I'm going to fill up the rest and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, last 2 jars that I can get full. I got this one really packed. And I'm going to have 3 jars to fill up with just water to put in the canner so the little jars don't slosh around. That's what I got in there so far. You can see it steaming. And alright.
Gotta pour it in slowly. Sorry.
Alright. There's Yeah, like I said, the chicken had a lot of fat on it. Alright, let's clean the lids. Finger tight. Do the next one. Make sure there's no bubbles. Get all the air out. Yeah, that was a 10-pound bag of chicken. They must have been older hens or whatever. The bones were really big, and like I said, they had a lot of fat on them, which I didn't want in here. Okay, finger tight, and put the last two in the jar, in the canning pressure canner. And then the other ones, I'm just gonna fill those with water, I guess. Alright, let's do that. Alright, got them filled with hot water, and just to stay in the practice of keeping everything clean, I'll clean the rims and put on the lids. Good habits. Alright, lids all on. Let's put them in the canner. I don't think I mentioned I have a new pressure gauge on my canner. I'm legally blind. I only see out of one eye. You would never know by looking at me. But let's see. I dropped the lid. Yeah, that was an oops. Alright. And when I dropped the lid, I broke the pressure gauge. So anyways, I broke the pressure gauge, and I had to buy a new one. So you might notice that my pressure gauge is new. It was only $15, but I had to wait like 2 days for it to come. Alright, so we'll turn up the burner and wait for it to vent. Wait for this valve to pop up, and then we'll let it vent for 10 minutes, and then I'll put the weight on there after it vents for 10 minutes. And then after it's vented, we'll let it cook for 1 hour and 15 minutes, I believe. 1 hour and 15 minutes for pint. Yeah, pint jars. 1 hour and 15 minutes. Or if it was quarts, which I'm not doing, it'd be 1 hour and 30 minutes. Alright, so this little safety gauge came up, and now I'm gonna let it vent out the air for 10 minutes. Alright, I'm at 11 pounds, a little above. I turned down the heat, and I'm gonna stand here and adjust it because I think as the food heats up and cooks inside, yeah, I gotta keep constantly turning it down and down. Eventually, got it where it stays steady. But in the meantime, I do keep a constant eye on the pressure. I don't go take a nap. I don't leave, the house. I don't go outside. I stay here in the kitchen. See how it's still rising. I'll turn it down a little bit more. Eventually I'll have it all the way over to there. We'll just keep an eye on it. And in an hour and 15 minutes, I'll turn it off. Wait for the pressure safety nipple, whatever you want to call it, to go down on its own. Make sure the pressure is down to 0 before I take the weigh it off. I'll wait probably about 10 minutes before removing the lid. And when I open it, I'll open it away from my face and then take out the jars and set them out. Alright, back in an hour and 15 minutes. Alright, so the hour and 15 minutes is up. I'll let the canner vent, and now I'm currently taking them out. Got them on a towel, and we'll let them sit here. And then tomorrow, see, they're bubbling. You see that? It's bubbling. Tomorrow we'll take off the rings and wash them with soapy water, label them, and put them away. So each pint jar, I think, ended up costing me $1.43 for a pint jar. I did make some the other day in quart jars, but I thought pint jars would be easier for single usage for a family. You know, if you want to add it to noodles or maybe make sandwiches, things like that. Or even to barter or to trade. Yeah, so this was one 10-pound bag. I think I got just as many bones as chicken. Yeah, you can hear them popping. And these other 3 are just strictly water that I used to use up the space so these guys wouldn't fall over. But with meat prices going up and the talk of hyperinflation, and with the recent events over there on the west coast of bird flu, evidently, yeah, it's getting really bad there. Yeah, it's even in the migratory populations. I think we're going to have more restrictions on chicken. We're going to have higher prices on chicken. So I'm doing what I can to put up food so my family doesn't go hungry. And you should be prepping too. Don't tell people about your preps. Loose lips sink ships. I'm sharing this with you guys. Yeah, so if you do figure out where I live, don't come here if you want food unless you can bring a skill with you or bring something with you that would be good for our group. Yeah, never go to a prepper's house with nothing in hand, even if it's a strong back and some tools or a trade that you might know, such as medical knowledge or carpentry, things like that. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Please put those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you all. Bye.